Hello again, University of Washington, EEP598. This is for homework 3, team 10. And for this assignment particularly, we're going to be working on these personal habits and how they apply to a work environment and these recurrent problematic situations. What we want to do is implement a habit structure where we're looking at recurrent events in a project management tool or software of your choice. You can do Trello and various others. We chose Habitica, and thank you so much, Taylor, for volunteering as we write down these 10 different habits and then track them over a period of time. And what you guys are seeing here, this is a spatial computing interface for the Microsoft HoloLens 2. And I just want to show you just a few of the interactions here because I find it very helpful when you're interacting with teams in this environment, because I believe this is the future of various different types of interactive capabilities. So let's go back down here as you're actually seeing this. And what we had to do, specifically was look at 10 individual different habits. So number one, we had to upload team information to a shared drive. Number two, we want to send out the status of our projects twice a week. We want to be proactive and obviously think win-win. And number three, we want to check in on our personal level with teammates on a weekly basis. I believe we should do this on a daily basis. Check your posture, take a short break. We see this quite often with people who are working in offices at home. They're slouched over. You want to basically put your back up and straighten your back, have very nice posture. You want to prioritize your daily responsibilities for daily delegation or micromanagement, whatever you so choose. And check in with your management team on a daily or weekly basis, and check in with the team to help solve problems habitually. And then process your email. Try to do this in the morning and at night. Obviously at 7 o'clock, family time is important, but then looking at breaking your tasks into smaller pieces with a checklist, and then break individually for these self-care activities for like yoga, snacks, going for walks. This is going to keep your mind clear and free of stress and anxiety. So let's go down a little bit more and explain how we picked these 10 habits. Now, they were picked around the premise of communication within the workplace and the breakdowns of communication. This is very common. They cause a lot of different types of disruptive mentalities within organizations. It lowers productivity, not only for the individual but as well as the team. It can be catastrophically negative, and we don't want that. So in engineering and technical professions, we believe that communication is a key driver in pushing projects and accomplishing various tasks and achieving goals and milestones. Therefore, it's beneficial to implement the habits that promote stronger communication within the workplace. Now, these 10 habits were chosen based on all of our different experiences. We had a few different conference calls, and each person got to elaborate and detail their different various experiences and how they believe those inhibited and or positively impacted various different types of workplace experiences. And then what we wanted to do was obviously improve the productivity and efficiency of individual employees by introducing and improving various aspects of the communication in the day-to-day scope of the engineer's career. So we can kind of go down to this tablet or this table down here. It's really, really nice. That's why I like spatial computers. So we can look down to each one of these individual line items and look at, specifically number 12, sending out the status of projects twice a week. This particular habit is going to keep all the stakeholders in the loop and aligned on how the project is progressing and actively reporting the status of the project for everyone, so we're not being passive, we're being proactive versus reactive. That's really, really important. And this helps to maintain a positive outlook within the collaborative nature of various different types of projects. It's vital for the success of the organization if you're going to do it this way. And that's why historically for me, I've managed over 700, I don't even know how many data center projects around the world, and every single time I've done it, the biggest issue is always communication. Every single time. Conflict mitigation and communication. And you'd be surprised, even in this day and age of internet, of constant connectivity, how poorly people in communication in project management organizations communicate. And that's why it's so important to develop these habits, to have these types of timelines, these time checkers, these schedules, to basically go down and verify that everybody is synergized, everybody's on the same page, everybody is has sharpened their skill sets, and these additional tools will help you be more proactive in your organization, because delegating responsibilities is incredibly challenging and difficult. So if you can develop a fundamental concept where everybody has the same habits for a team to initiate these tasks and follow up on task initiatives, it's of the utmost importance, and a successful project is more than just a profitability return on investment, which is what a lot of accountants like to look at, right? They want to see that you're 5% or 10% above that baseline, but communication will directly lead to a failure within a project or a success. I mean, there's very little give and take in the middle there, and if you're not proactive, if you aren't developing these habits that correspond with open communication and transparent timelines for every single person within your group, by breaking all of these tasks into smaller pieces, there's different types of processes that you can follow for the habits, but I believe in developing a long-term habit is not just 21 days. It is a fundamental structure. The underpinnings of project management aren't just the 42 processes and the PMBOK, and a lot of it comes down to this, is mitigating the inability for people to communicate, and also, more importantly, at the end of the day, taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. I mean, if you're not mentally healthy, if you're not physically strong, you're not going to be able to focus and take on some of these issues at the end of the day. So synergizing yourself and your team and energizing the whole project by creating a focal point for everyone so they understand where they need to be, when they need to be there, and how they're supposed to communicate will ultimately lead to a successful project and a more happy and healthy organization. So thank you so much for this. I wanted to give you a brief example of another application that I've been working on for data centers, which allows me to create checklists and tasks for data center engineers and look at different types of maps in real time. So I'm going to jump into that to show you guys. I'm always trying to teach and learn and share a lot of the proof of concepts that I'm working on. So let's go ahead and jump into that now. And thank you so much, Team 10 for homework 3. You guys were fantastic, especially during all these troubling times. It's so stressful right now. I know there's a lot of anxiety, so I greatly appreciate all your heartfelt messages and attention to detail here and your disciplined approach so we can be successful in this homework and the class itself. Thank you so much, and let's jump into this next proof of concept. Okay, we're back. So I wanted to show you very quickly, I work in a lot of different types of data center environments where the projects are $500 million or more, and these daily inspection sheets for these on-site cloud computing or data center engineers can be expansive. There's a plethora of information that can fall through the gaps for project managers. I mean, if you look at this particular facility, which is out in Eastern Washington for Microsoft, it's over 270 acres. So this particular map is not a map of the site, it's a map of an adjacent facility, but we use spatial computing out there so project managers can actually look at the past project and how it looked, and then look how it looked 3 days ago, and then essentially look how it looks now. So they can zoom in on the construction map at any particular time, and they can actually see people walking around in real time. We have these live mapped. It's really incredible. But this is very useful for project managers, very similar to what we're doing in Abitica, where we're putting a schedule or task. We can do that in spatial computing. We can actually overlay that on a 3D or 2D image. And then here what we're doing on below the daily inspections, we're creating these daily inspection checkpoints, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's automatically updated and integrated into the server, so that the engineers that are walking their daily rounds don't have to write everything down on a piece of paper and then come back and transcribe it. They can come here and just click on the daily checkpoint 3, and this will tell them, all right, when I go out to the generator, when I go out to this particular power lineup, I have to check the fluid and power ranges, I have to check the grease, I have to check the air pressure, the system, the hydraulic pressure, the spindle lube. But we do this for every single system out there for 1 megawatt generators, 1 megawatt 3-phase UPS systems, big electrochemical battery backup systems, valve regulated lead acid batteries, our VLA batteries, our NiCad batteries for switchgear, and we look at even mechanical systems. We're doing the same kind of overlays, but we use the same kind of task trackers and adjudication to go back and say, okay, have they performed these tasks in accordance with the guidelines and specifications that we outlined in our project. And in the future, all engineers, this is why I like to show this to the University of Washington students, because you're not really getting too much exposure to these kinds of interactions and UI elements. But this is very important. These procedures will be across all industries in just a few years. So you're kind of looking forward, and then what I'm trying to do is be proactive again versus being reactive, so you guys can see how we're integrating and utilizing this type of technology today, so you understand and you could implement it in your organizations. Thank you guys so much for this. I really appreciate it. Thank you Team 10 for homework 3. You guys were fantastic. You taught me so much. You were just awesome. And thank you, Professor, and to all of the TAs, and I hope you guys have a great week.